The time is 5:30. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pembroke Road Widening Design Alternatives Workshop. My name is Claudia Vinitsky Calvo. I am the project manager with the Florida Department of Transportation. I will now turn it over to our presenter.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis Atkins, and I will be your presenter this evening. FDOT's December safety message is drive sober or get pulled over. Drinking and driving don't mix. Stay smart and safe. This workshop is being conducted in a hybrid format to provide multiple ways for the public to receive information about the project and provide input. It is being conducted in person, virtually through GoToWebinar, and over the phone. If you dialed in today on a telephone line, the PowerPoint presentation is available on the project webpage at d4fdot.com/bc-fdot-Pembroke_Road_from_W_Douglas_Road.asp. For online participants, the GoToWebinar control panel should be visible in the upper right corner of your computer screen. If joining GoToWebinar on your mobile device, simply tap the screen to display the same options. The blue arrows in both images point to where you will find the question box. You can type a comment or question into the question box, then click Send to submit your comment or question to staff. The red arrows in both images point to where you can find handouts, documents, and comment forms for this workshop. Click the handouts icon to see available handouts. Click on the file name to download. If you happen to experience a technical issue during this workshop, type the issue into the questions box on the control panel on GoToWebinar to report it. You can also send an email to our moderator, Amanda Ashby, at aashby@inwoodinc.com to report it. You can also call 407-986-5363 for help. Staff will do their best to assist you. We encourage your input and feedback about this project. All public comments and questions are part of the workshop public record, and every method for providing public comments and questions carries equal weight. While comments and questions will be accepted at any time, those submitted by Monday, December 20th, 2021, 11 days after the workshop, will become part of the workshop public record. A recording of this presentation will be posted on the project's webpage within 1 week following the workshop. There are multiple ways to provide comments and questions. For those in attendance at the in-person location, you may speak to our staff on the floor during the open house portions of the workshop. You may also offer your comments at the microphone. Please see a staff member for a speaker card if you have not already done so. If you are participating online, you may submit written questions or comments in the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel. Staff will read your question aloud to be answered. Following this workshop, and during normal business hours, you may also call the project manager, Claudia Vinitsky Calvo, at 954-777-4476 to provide verbal comments. At the in-person location, you can also fill out a printed comment form and drop it in the comment box provided, or return it to project staff. You may also email your comments and questions to FDOT Project Manager Claudia Vinitsky Calvo at claudia.vinitsky-calvo@dot.state.fl.us. You may mail written comments and questions to Ms. Vinitsky Calvo at the Florida Department of Transportation, 3400 West Commercial Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33309. The contact information is also available on the workshop notification that you may have received by mail and on the project website. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting Sharon Singhajian, District 4 Title VI Coordinator, by mail at 3400 West Commercial Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33309, by phone at 954-777-4190, or email at sharon.singhajian@dot.state.fl.us. You may also contact Jacqueline Paramore, State Title VI Coordinator, by mail at 605 Sewanee Street, Mail Station 65, Tallahassee, Florida 32399-0450, by phone at 850-414-4753, or email at jacqueline.paramore@dot.state.fl.us. This information is shown on a sign at the in-person location and in the workshop notifications. This workshop was advertised in the Florida Administrative Register, on FDOT's Public Notices website, the South Florida Sun Sentinel, on social media, and on the project webpage. In addition, adjacent property owners, interested individuals, elected and appointed officials, and government agencies were also notified about this workshop. The Broward MPO, or the Broward Metropolitan Planning Organization, is involved with funding and planning transportation projects in the Broward region. Federal dollars are being used for this project. The MPO is governed by a board which consists of elected officials from 31 municipalities: Broward County, Broward County School Board, and the South Florida Transportation Authority. The MPO develops plans, conducts studies, and establishes various programs related to transportation and mobility. The need for improvements to Pembroke Road are identified in the Broward 2040 Long Range Transportation Plan, or LRTP. The plan's objectives are to enhance the movement of people and goods, to create jobs and strengthen communities. The objectives for the improvements to Pembroke Road are to address the concerns expressed in the LRTP by improving multimodal connectivity along the corridor, relieving congestion, providing safety enhancements, and improving ADA access. This widening project is located along Pembroke Road from Douglas Road to University Drive. The project proposes to widen the corridor from the existing 4 lanes to 6 lanes. The purpose of the project is to enhance safety and operations for drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists. There will be improved corridor lighting. The signal pole at the Pembroke Road and Jody Lane intersection will be replaced. There is also a study underway to determine the need and feasibility of a noise wall on the north side of the roadway. There are 3 alternative design options being presented. Please note that all the alternatives maintain the existing southern right-of-way line with all the widening to the north side of the roadway. Each alternative has pros and cons that are summarized in an evaluation matrix. Each of the exhibits are also on display tonight at the in-person location and are available to view or download on the project website. Alternative 1 includes a 22-foot median, 11-foot travel lanes, 3 in each direction, 7-foot on-street buffered bike lanes would be provided on both sides of the roadway, an 8-foot sidewalk on the south, and a 6-foot sidewalk on the north side. 20 feet of the existing roadway will be milled, resurfaced, and reused, reducing both construction costs and the construction duration. The right-of-way requirements for this alternative varies, with a maximum requirement of 20 additional feet from the north side. This typical section meets all design criteria. Alternative 2 is similar to Alternative 1, with a 22-foot median and 3 11-foot travel lanes in each direction, with 16 feet of existing roadway being milled, resurfaced, and reused, again, reducing both construction costs and duration. The key difference is the accommodations for bicycles and pedestrians. Here, pedestrians and bicycles are accommodated on both sides of the roadway with a raised path, separated from the travel lanes with a 3-foot sodded area. The path is delineated for pedestrians with a 6-foot wide sidewalk and a 5-foot wide lane for bicyclists. The right-of-way requirements for Alternative 2 vary, with a maximum requirement of 18 additional feet on the north side. This typical section also meets all design criteria. Alternative 3 also has 3 11-foot travel lanes in each direction, but the median is reduced to 15.5 feet. With this alternative, 23 feet of the existing roadway can be milled, resurfaced, and reused. The existing drainage infrastructure on the south side of the roadway can also be reused. This reduces both construction costs and construction duration. Pedestrians and bicycles will share the 12-foot wide path on the north side and an 8-foot path on the south. This alternative can generally be constructed within the existing right-of-way, with only a small amount of additional right-of-way required near the Douglas Road intersection. Standard design criteria for median width and shared use path separation have been reduced to accommodate Alternative 3. Looking at the alternatives from an aerial view, we can see that several design elements are consistent with all the alternatives. For example, the median opening in front of 87th Way will be converted to an eastbound directional opening, and the existing signal at Jody Lane will be updated to a mast arm signal. Specific to Alternative 1 is the proposed right-of-way line, shown in red, along the north side of the roadway. The right turn lane on the southwest 87th Way would require right-of-way from 3 private residences east of the side street. In addition, the bicycle lanes are on-street, providing continuity along Pembroke Road from west of Douglas Road. Continuing east, the access to Poinciana Drive and the future development would be converted to eastbound directional median openings. The access management or median opening changes are consistent through all alternatives to improve safety. The right-of-way impacts associated with Alternative 1 end just west of the area of future development. Looking at Alternative 2, notice the on-street bike lanes begin and end at Douglas Road. With this alternative, bicyclists will transition to and from the raised separated bike lane adjacent to the sidewalk using the signalized intersection. The right-of-way requirement is also reduced, eliminating the impacts to the 3 private residences east of 87th Way required in Alternative 1. Continuing to the east, you will see the right-of-way impacts are very similar to Alternative 1. The eastbound bike lane transitions back to an on-street bike lane east of the Walmart truck entrance. The westbound on-street bike lane ends west of the DMV and transitions bicycles to the raised separated path. For Alternative 3, notice the reduced right-of-way requirement along the north side of the corridor. This is accomplished by reducing the median width and combining pedestrian and bicycle traffic on the 12-foot and 8-foot shared use paths. Continuing to the east, you can see no additional right-of-way is required along the north side of the roadway. Similar to Alternative 2, the on-street bike lanes begin and end at the Walmart truck entrance and west of the DMV. The property along the north side of the roadway is landscaped and contains many mature trees. Each alternative has the potential to impact this area. Please understand the impacts shown are an example in an isolated location and are conceptual. Landscaping impacts cannot be fully quantified until the design progresses further. With Alternative 1, notice the southernmost tree has been removed, and substantial trimming of the remaining trees is necessary to remove large limbs overhanging the roadway. Alternative 2 impacts are generally the same as Alternative 1, as the overall typical section widths are similar. Alternative 2 does provide additional green space between the shared pedestrian and bicycle corridor. Alternative 3 has the least impacts to existing landscaping, since additional right-of-way is only required near the Douglas Road intersection. Please note, tree trimming may still be required to maintain minimum vertical clearances over both the sidewalk and travel lanes. Through our initial public outreach, we understand that there is concern for cars backing up or queuing with the proposed improvements. This in turn could lead to traffic cutting through to avoid the Douglas Road intersection. FDOT has conducted a queue analysis and found that during the peak hours of operation, the queue in the through movement will not block right-turning traffic. Thus, cut-through traffic is not anticipated to be an issue. The evaluation matrix shows the criteria used to evaluate each alternative. The criteria includes, but is not limited to right-of-way impacts, safety, environmental and community impacts, and construction cost. Alternative 2 is the technical recommendation for the corridor. Following a review of public feedback on the alternatives, a preferred alternative will be selected to be carried through the rest of the design process. Again, we encourage your input and feedback about this project and the alternatives. All public comments and questions are part of the public record, and every method for providing public comments and questions carries equal weight. While comments and questions will be accepted at any time, those submitted by Monday, December 20th, 11 days after the workshop, will become part of the workshop record. This workshop is being recorded. The recording will be posted on the project's webpage within 1 week following the workshop. For those in attendance at the in-person location, we encourage you to speak to our project staff on the floor, complete a printed comment form, or speak at the microphone. Remember, if you would like to speak at the microphone, please fill out a speaker card and provide it to staff so we may call on you during the comment portion of the workshop. If you are participating online, you may submit written questions or comments in the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel. Staff will read the online comments or questions out loud so staff may respond. You may also mail written comments and questions to Ms. Vinitsky Calvo at the Florida Department of Transportation, 3400 West Commercial Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33309. You may also call the project manager at 954-777-4476 during normal business hours. You may also email your comments and questions to claudia.bitnitsky-calvo@dot.state.fl.us. All contact information is available on the workshop notification that you may have received by mail. Contact information is also available on the project website. We will now turn it over to our moderator for the public comment portion of the workshop. For in-person speakers at the microphone, please limit your comments to 3 minutes to allow everyone time to speak.
All right, great, thank you. Before we take any questions, I'd like to allow another opportunity for any elected or appointed officials to be recognized. If there's anyone at the in-person location that would like to speak, just let staff know and we can bring you a microphone. Online, let me know and I can unmute you or acknowledge you.
Yeah. Good evening, Steve Card, 1120 Southwest 87th Avenue, member of Collins Park Honeywoods, representing myself as a homeowner as well as the Vice President of Honeywoods HOA. Thank you for the opportunity to come speak tonight. Thank you for the presentation and the venue. I think the project's going to be most successful if we continue these lines of communication that you guys have done, so that is very important, and I appreciate that. For those that helped to arrange that, I appreciate that as well. Just a couple of comments that I already said on the floor, but just to reiterate, the 3 top concerns that I have and represent some people with, but I take as my own, are the cut-through traffic, which you guys are looking at, the stacking of traffic, which I don't do traffic studies, but I'm looking forward to read that traffic study because I see visually what happens to the east of us. I find it hard to believe it's only going to be back as far as it suggests. I didn't understand, I guess, on the floor, which of the 3 proposals needs land from 3 homeowners in addition to the association?
Alternative 1, if the right turn lane on the 87th way is replaced, it will require a right of way from those 3 private homeowners located to the east.
And that's just option 1?
Just alternative 1.
Okay.
And there is the possibility, if that's the preferred alternative, the turn lane could be removed. That was the one that everyone wanted.
Okay, I appreciate the input for that. The consideration for landscape, obviously, we'll talk about that to make sure that we have some conversations going forward, because we got some aged trees out there, we got some tree people, and we are a city of trees. And I know that when we had to remove on Douglas Road as a state, and the city did hold us to replacement of trees, so we would want to make sure there's some landscaping there, and we could talk about some of that, so I know there'll be more conversations going forward. Other than that, I think that pretty much sums up the concerns that I had. Like I said, we'll continue forward with the homeowners, and I hope that more of the residents, if they're online, stay in tune with this and stay active and vocal for it. I would ask that the next time we have some type of gathering, that there be a little bit more consideration, which I could have mentioned to them before I forgot, of not being at 5 o'clock on a work day. Because a lot of homeowners are 9 to 5ers, and I had to make special arrangements to work to be able to get here tonight. So I know it's an online, but if they're in traffic, they're probably not going to be on the phone. We don't want them on the phone listening to this and trying to talk. So if we could do something a little bit later in the evening, I think. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Kevin and Anna, do we have any other speaker cards at the venue at this time?
No.
All right, I do not have any comments coming in online. I'm going to leave it open. If anyone has any questions or comments online that you'd like the project team to answer, please type them into the question pane and I will read them aloud for you and we'll get some answers. Otherwise, I'll leave this open for a few minutes online and give everyone the opportunity. Go ahead and switch back to this slide so that you have contact information. If you'd like to provide any comments or questions at the microphone at the venue, please just turn in a speaker card to one of the staff and they will help you.
We're here till 7, so don't feel like keeping us. Feel free to entertain. It all brings up a good point, guys. We do have both the city engineers are here, both member contact and Dermar. If there's any questions for them or anything they'd like to bring forward.
Close out the online portion if there's no one asking questions.
Yeah, if there's no one asking questions. You want to?
All right, I do not have any questions coming in online. For those of you in attendance, project staff will still be on hand to answer any questions if you want to take a moment to look at the boards and the project displays that are available. Can I get a thumbs up from my panelists if you are good to close the online? Oh, nope, sorry, hold on. I just had a question come in. All right, for the project team, could you be clear as to why 2 is the chosen alternative?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you scroll to bring up the matrix? So the reason alternative 2 is the technical recommendation has everything to do with safety. What alternative 2 does is it provides a designated space for each type of user for the corridor. So vehicular user, pedestrians and cyclists each have a designated The other advantage to alternative 2 over alternative 1 also has space for both is that the bikes are on a raised separated path away from the vehicles. So it provides not only a comfort for everyone using the corridor because they have their own space, but obviously if you're not up against traffic, it's a safer, more usable type of facility. The other advantage from a comfort standpoint is you have that path, the utility strip or sonic strip, which gives you additional separation. So you can imagine you're walking your dog or whatever, you have that little buffer space before you're in traffic. It also meets all design criteria, it has a full median width, so it's maximized safety from that perspective. And the matrix, we can go forward to the matrix. The matrix is also on display. We can talk about it, but it's an online question. So what we've done on the matrix is we've analyzed everything from a right-of-way, a safety, and an impact perspective. Sorry, I can't see it. I'm on the microphone.
Yes.
All right, so if you look at the top line, everything here is right-of-way impact. So we quantify the number of parcels that are impacted and then the area of impact. While alternative 3 is less, it doesn't meet our safety preferences. And it's very consistent with alternative 1 as far as the overall impacts. Within the safety column, we look at the pedestrians. And again, as I mentioned, they have their own space, it's separated from the roadway, and we have that grass buffer. So that gives it the designation of best, whereas some of the others are just better because they don't have that physical separation. Same thing with bicycles. Having a physical separation being off of the roadway is the safest spot for them. This is a 45-mile-an-hour corridor. And so as the speeds come up, we want the bikes off of the roadway. Vehicular safety, they would, both alternative 1 and 2 would be tied for best because we have our 22-foot median, we meet standards. Alternative 3 has to reduce that in order to minimize the impact, so it's less safe from that perspective. Go through landscaping impact in place, noise sensitive, and access management. All 3 of those are very similar across the board, so there's no real defining issues here. And it comes down to the cost in the end. You can see obviously the right of issues on the corridor. Construction costs are very similar between alternative 1 and 2. Same amount of payment, very similar. Alternative 3 is a little bit less in construction costs because we're able to reuse some of the existing features or more of the existing features. So the total cost of $22 million for alternative 1, $21 million for alternative 2, and $7 million for alternative 3. So safety is the deciding factor really for us having a technical recommendation of alternative 2.
A little bit on that. Also, the Vernon Hill also done a lot of public outreach, related to the types of bike pedestrian facilities that we do want to see throughout the county. Something that we have seen is Florida or South Florida in general, when we are doing these separate projects where we are able to explore other types of options for better bike pedestrian facilities rather than putting bikes on the road where they're right up against a lot of traffic. That we are trying to find ways to separate those different modes of transportation. And this also provides people who don't feel comfortable riding in the road a safer, more comfortable facility. In general, it's less than 10% of people who feel comfortable riding in the road. So this also accommodates for the majority of the population that could also use these to also use as a wider path. For kids who don't feel as comfortable, for adults who don't feel as comfortable, riding in the street. And this will also eliminate that friction that happens not just in between vehicles and bicyclists, but also will eliminate some of that friction that would occur between bicyclists and pedestrians on just a 6-foot path, for example. This will help delineate that space.
Design office.
Move it closer.
Design office, DOT. I'd just like to add, one thing I know when that question was first asked, is that it shows an alternative, and that's not the case, and that's the whole point of this meeting, is actually to get input. So, yeah, negative feedback on alternative two, hope is that choices. I just wanted to add that, and then I guess just to add as well, you're concerned with the cut through traffic. There is an alternative. I know it's probably not preferred, initially due to safety. There's that little bulb out that stops you from being able to, at that intersection, you could actually just lengthen that right turn lane to go through there, so you still could access Douglas Road and not have to cut through. So, I mean, well, like you said, you're happy with the study, and you prefer to leave that bulb out there. Due to, people are turning right into that. They might assume they're going all the way to Douglas, and there could be some rear end crashes, but if ultimately that would be like the reason you would not want to find an easy solution to stop those things.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. You talked a little bit about that, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Also to also potentially eliminate some of those cut through concerns. We have been in constant contact and coordination with the city of Pembroke Pines and the city of Miramar. So hopefully in conjunction with this project, we can at least help facilitate that discussion if there are some needs of the community on potentially getting some other improvements. Those may not be improvements that we're going to be able to fund. However, Carl and Sal back there, they're very easy to get a hold of, and as partners, they've been great in providing each other information, and then also addressing those some of the other concerns that we have had with residents in other projects.
All right, thank you to my project team. I do not have any other questions online right now. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak at the venue? No.
We don't have any other questions at this time.
I guess, Amanda, while we're still online, one thing that we could just shed a little more light and information is on the overall project schedule. So where we're at right now is we're in the alternative phase. And so we're looking for input tonight from you all to help us select our alternative. We will be looking, based on the selection, we'll be looking to identify right-of-way needs, final right-of-way needs by May, with the first plan submittal coming in right in that May-June timeframe. And then it would be 2 years to finish the design. You go through a 2-year right-of-way acquisition phase. And so there really isn't a construction date. It's not funded for construction yet, but you'd be looking further down the line, 4+ years.
And when is the traffic study anticipated to be finished? And then, with the presentation, there's also a noise study that's being conducted.
Sure. So the traffic study that you asked about is complete now. So it can be requested and provided review. We finished about 2 weeks ago. And you also asked about the noise study. The noise study is directly affected by the typical section that's selected. We have to know how far the roadway is from the noise receptors. And obviously it's different with each typical section alternative. We also have to get far enough in the design that we know the elevation of the roadway. The elevation of the roadway relative to the finished floor of each of the homes is going to affect the noise level that is received by the homes. So the noise study will continue and really, I guess, start once we have the selected alternative and we get through about 30% plan to phase 1 plan. We've done the baseline numbers. We know what the noise is based on the existing roadway, but we need further information from a design perspective in order to determine what will happen once the roadway. So it's on hold until we get past this typical section selection. Certainly.
All right, thank you for that, Kevin. All right, if there are no more questions coming in, let's see if I get one right as if I close it again. If there are no more questions coming in tonight, I'm going to go ahead and close the online portion, but again, project staff are still going to be at the venue to answer questions if you want to take a look at the displays and the boards that are available. And then you may also email, let me pull up this slide here, email, call, or send in your comments to the project manager, Claudia. Please visit the project website for updates on the project. And on behalf of the Florida Department of Transportation, thank you for attending this workshop and providing your input on the alternatives. If you have any comments or questions after the workshop, please submit them by December 20th. Contact information or recording of tonight's presentation, project documents, and other exhibits will be posted on the project website. So thank you again and have a great evening, everyone.